This beautiful woman is my mother, Eleanor Usis. She was born in Brooklyn, New York on August 23, 1932, and is about to turn 92 years old. I know you'll say she looks amazing for her age, and you're right. Eleanor is an extraordinary woman that has lived an extraordinary life. This video is a gift to her from me and family members, where we'll be sharing some memories with her and our well wishes. I hope you enjoy this, Mom, and know you're so loved by your 5 daughters, your sisters, your many grandchildren, nieces and nephews, and your many friends. Happy 92nd birthday, Mom. Eleanor's father, Walter Brundage, was born on April 20th in the year 1900, and he passed away in November of 1963. He was a traveling salesman that sold dry goods. Eleanor's mother, also named Eleanor Ann, was born on December 1st, also in 1900. She was the youngest of 12 children. Her brother, Russell, my great-uncle Russell, was born the same year, on January 7th, and since they were born in the same year, my mother told me this was called Irish twins. Sadly, Eleanor's mother passed away at the young age of 43 from pneumonia, and Walter was left with 4 young, adventurous children to raise. Here are the Brundage kids, Wally, Ellie, Mary Ruth, and Joni. What a beautiful family. Eleanor and her sisters attended the Academy of St. Joseph boarding school in Brentwood, where Mom graduated in 1950. The 3 sisters were together for a high school reunion last weekend, celebrating a mass luncheon and tour. It brought back so many memories to them, and this is a special one Aunt Joni wanted to share with you. Eleanor, I was loaded with memories being back at school Saturday. One of my favorite memories was when you would come see me at night before I went to sleep in the Minims dormitory. You would often polish my brown Oxfords and make sure I had clean underwear for the next day and kiss me goodnight. You were a freshman in high school, and that was your way of trying to be a mother for me after my mother had died when I was just 4 years old. Eleanor and Jack met at a party on New Year's Eve in 1960. They were married just 11 months later on November 5th and began their family of 5 girls the next year. They were married for 34 years when Eleanor lost Jack to cancer, but they made wonderful memories over those years. They enjoyed going on vacations each year, including cruises, eating out often, getting together with friends to play cards, tennis, and sailing on Dad's boat. Growing up with them was awesome for me and my sisters because they loved to take us on many of their fun adventures. Elle and I have enjoyed many travels together to visit our eldest daughters in Tennessee and North Carolina, at Sea-Watch Resort at Myrtle Beach, and some bridge playing cruises on the Caribbean. I so enjoyed spending these times with my sister, getting to know her more, and being so in awe of her terrific bridge skills, as well as her loving spirit. I wish you the very best on your birthday, and always, love, Mary Ruth. A new favorite memory of mine is the trip that we took to Canada with Aunt Mary Ruth and Kristen. The ferry ride was fun, and the breakfast was incredibly delicious. We drove up to Vermont and spent the night in this amazing little town in a super old but very classic hotel. Up in Canada, you and Aunt Mary Ruth took a tour of the little boarding school that you stayed in after your mother passed away. The dinner in Montreal, touring the St. Joseph Oratory, and Mass was amazing. On the way back, we spent the night in Lake George, continued the trip with a stop at Kathy's eating dinner in a restaurant on the Hudson. A really fun and wonderful trip. Happiest birthday, Mom. Aunt Eleanor, you have always been very sweet. My memories are a bit faded, but I always enjoyed spending time at your home in Long Island, swimming, playing wiffle ball, and watching movies. I have a vague memory that may have come from my dad that involved green beans at the bungalow from when you were little. Maybe Aunt Joni knows about that. I love you, Aunt Eleanor, and wish you a wonderful birthday. Aunt Eleanor, I have a bunch of memories I'd like to share with you. The first one is quite funny. Once when I was visiting your family, I went out on the sailboat with you and Uncle Jack. You had to use the bathroom on the boat, and I can picture you standing up, covered on the bottom, but laughing hysterically as you tried to go. I remember one visit you took us to the Bronx Zoo. You had to get gas, and I was so impressed that you pumped your own gas into the car. We didn't do that in New Jersey. I thought, what a woman! I always loved the parties at your house. I was so honored that you asked me to be Amy's godmother. You have always been so generous. My mom saved a dress that you actually made for me. I had Lainey's picture taken wearing that same dress. You also gave Elizabeth a beautiful dress for her first birthday that she wore for a professional portrait. I've loved visiting you every summer on your Myrtle Beach vacation. Happy birthday, Aunt Ellie. Happy birthday, Aunt Eleanor. Marcy and I hope you are well and have a wonderful birthday. We love you. When I think of you, I recall how much fun it was visiting you and the girls in Smithtown. I especially loved running around in the woods behind the backyard. Other fun memories are of board games with the cousins and of having my shoelaces eaten by Coco the dog and convincing Uncle Jack to get out his trumpet to play us a few tunes. Happy birthday, Aunt Ellie. Trying to decide which memory to share, I thought I'd go with Myrtle Beach from a few years ago. Jeannie had left for some softball tryout, so we got to spend a few hours and talk. It was so nice hearing all of the old stories again, especially about when you would drop Grandpa off to stay with us for a while in South Toms River. I have memories of my playing with him, but since I was around 2 and also remember seeing me, pretty sure those are memories of watching home movies. When it was my turn to stay a week or so at your house on Long Island during the summer, I may have been age 12 or 14. With 5 younger girl cousins, I spent most of my time with Uncle Jack. It was a lot of fun after all. Have a great birthday, and we should plan a big party when you turn 100. Looking forward to it. Ray.
Hi, Aunt Ellie. Dave and I wish you a very special birthday. We enjoyed so many wonderful times together. Vacations at Sea-Watch and Myrtle Beach, with delicious dinners at Thoroughbreds and Rossi's, playing cards at night, mainly Phase 10, and IMAX movies at Broadway and the beach. I remember the fish swimming all around us. You then introduced us to a new restaurant, the Cypress Room, recommended by a friend of yours. We now go there every year and say, this is the fantastic restaurant Aunt Ellie found. Aunt Ellie introduced me to Chateaubriand, so anytime it's on a menu, I order it. Yes, we love our food. We've had so many loving family gatherings throughout the years, and so many amazing parties at your beautiful home in Smithtown. You are such the amazing hostess. And probably my most special memory is when you invited Jessica and me to spend a week with you in the summer. Jessica was only about 18 months old, and we had the best of time. I also always remember that my special cat, Tish, was the kitten of your cat. I think it was Mittens. I remember traveling home with her from your house. She was with me through high school, college, and beyond. She was with us for 20 years. Aunt Ellie, we love your strength, your sense of humor. You always make us laugh. and you have a beautiful smile that always shines so bright. We love you. Happy birthday, Aunt Ellie.
Happy birthday, Aunt Ellie.
Eleanor has so loved being a grandmother to her 11 grandchildren, and most recently became a first-time great-grandmother to Hazel Eleanor. Whenever one of her daughters became pregnant, she immediately began crocheting or knitting a special blanket for them. She has always loved spending time with her grandchildren and shown great interest in their lives as they become adults. She always to this day has never forgotten one of their birthdays, always sending presents and a monetary gift as they got older. And all of her grandkids love her so much. Mom, I have so many happy memories of growing up in our cozy house on Sandpiper Court with the woods in our backyard and our pool, and also fond memories of going out on Daddy's sailboat. You made a wonderful childhood for all of us, giving us so much more than many other kids had. And I can't tell you how much I appreciate what a great mother you've always been to me. I'd like to share some of the funny and special memories I have of you growing up. I remember you swimming across our pool doing the side stroke because you didn't want to get your hair wet and ruin your hairdo. I don't think I ever saw you actually go under the water. Every time you would finally get outside to sun yourself by the pool, the sun would go away. You did so much ironing that the ironing board was permanently set up in the dining room. I remember you ironing all of our uniform blouses, about 5 for each of us, every week. Every year you took us to A&S for our annual picture with Santa. When we were young, birthdays were made so special by you. We would get up in the morning and there would be 5 or 6 wrapped presents on the kitchen table. We would have these amazing birthday parties and then a delicious homemade cake with the candy lettering on it. My favorite birthday parties were of course at Adventureland. I loved family swim nights at Hopog High School and getting Dunkin' Donuts or Friendly's ice cream afterwards and then watching soap, and Daddy would laugh so hard. Lining up in the morning before school for you to put our hair in pigtails. The chore charts you put up on the wall to keep us organized, and we got 2 cents for brushing our teeth and hanging up our towels. We got a whopping 25 cents for filling up a large reading bucket. You always reading a big fat book when we went out to eat, or reading by the pool or in bed. Bingo nights at Kings Park when we would come home and put our clothes in the hamper, and in the morning they would reek of cigarette smoke. The time we ran out of gas on the way to McDonald's on Jericho Turnpike, and while we walked single file down the road, with the cars racing by, some big dogs chased after us. The time you brought wine in a jar to McDonald's. I loved going to swimming lessons at the Jaywood Swim School, and after the lessons you would take us to the hot dog stand on the way home and lay out Daddy's green wool beach blanket on a hill, where we would eat hot dogs and drink Yoo-hoo. When we stayed at the Polynesian Resort in Disney World and you said, "Dinner time," and Daddy said, "That's fun." For many years we have loved having you on our family vacations. We've been going to the Sea Watch in Myrtle Beach since Brianna was born 21 years ago. The funniest memory I have is one year you and Aunt Mary Ruth stayed in a condo above ours, and a fire alarm went off in the middle of the night, and you two rushed out of your room with your bras in your purses and a book in hand. We shared so many fun days lounging on the beach, and you so loved sitting by that pool at the South Tower. You enjoyed cooling off in the pools and sitting out on the balcony, and the breakfast buffets with Marvin's famous omelets and waffles. We loved our tradition of eating out at Rossi's every year and Thoroughbreds. We also had many great fall break vacations in Panama City Beach, where Brian has a funny memory to share with you. Mom, I'd like to share this memory of one of the times we stayed at the Edgewater Resort in Panama City Beach. It was the year after we had the hurricane and red tide and had to evacuate on just day 2 of our vacation. The next fall, we stayed in that same condo. While we were there, work was being done on the balcony and we were told not to go out on it. I came up from the beach to find you sitting in the middle of jackhammering going on without a care in the world, and you continued to go out there all week despite them working around you. Also, I have loved hanging out at the breakfast at Sea Watch with you and our special dinners at the Sea Captain's house with the she crab soup or getting a great steak at Ruth's Chris. Have a great birthday, Mom. Love, Brian. I wanted to share a funny memory that happened during our amazing vacation in Orlando when we visited Disney World, Epcot Center, and Universal. While in the park, since there was a lot of walking involved, we rented a scooter for you. I guess there was a learning curve for controlling it because you ran over our feet and into other objects in your path several times. But the day we went to Harry Potter World on Megan's 16th birthday, you had plans to meet your old friend Mrs. Cullum for dinner that night. While in the park, a torrential rain started and you were so concerned about ruining your hair that you took off on the scooter into the closest store, seemingly with no concern for anyone in your way, and crashed into the display case. Luckily, no one was injured and no merchandise destroyed. Grandma, while I was on my senior retreat in high school, family members sent me letters. I wanted to share the one you sent me. Dear Brianna, I hope you have a wonderful retreat day. It makes me remember the ones I had at the boarding school I went to where your mother also went to high school, the Academy of St. Joseph. We had a retreat every year for about 3 days. We would go on walks by ourselves, pray, and have talks with a priest. I had this one friend, Beatrice, who was pretty unconventional, not like me. I was pretty much a goody-goody. On one of the retreats, Beatrice was reading Gone with the Wind, not exactly religious reading. On vacations from school, we would be invited to people's houses, and one Thanksgiving, I was invited to Beatrice's house. When we went back to school, she brought a bottle of cider and put it outside the window on a balcony where she said it would distill and turn into liquor. One night, she was giving us drinks from it, and one of the nuns caught us. We were punished and made to stand outside our alcoves, which were small partitions where we had our bed and little vanity, for about an hour. When we had our 50th high school reunion, Beatrice was there. There were about 10 of us at it. Our class originally had only 31 girls. I hope you enjoyed reading about some of my old experiences when I was in high school. Love, Grandma. So now you've seen that Eleanor truly has been living an extraordinary life. She has always been such a hard worker and even to this day works part-time as a bookkeeper. And until recently she played bridge at a local bridge studio twice a week as well as online every single night with a friend. She still continues to play at night and also enjoys watching her favorite baseball team, the Mets. She watches daily mass. She no longer reads these days but listens to audiobooks regularly, enjoys keeping up with the news, and loves watching old movies either in black and white or, as she likes to say, in Technicolor. She especially enjoys watching shows on Netflix, and most days she gets calls from at least 1 or 2 of her 5 daughters. Eleanor, you are so loved.